Hey friends, what's going on? Welcome back to Evergreen Marketing Live. We're going to be talking about YouTube SEO for lead gen, how to optimize YouTube videos on your website. It's going to be a fun conversation today. Welcome back, Mallory. How you doing?
I'm good. Thank you so much, Brady.
Good to see you. Good to see you. This is going to be our last Evergreen Marketing Live for a couple weeks. We're taking next week and the next week, next week and the following week off for the holidays. So yeah, I'm excited to nerd out today. Tell me how the conference went, and maybe while people are rolling in, we'll just chit chat for a second here. But what is your biggest tip for speaking on stage? I'm gonna put you on the spot.
Rehearse.
Rehearse.
Yeah, you gotta practice. You got to get up on your feet in your house and feel silly talking to no one, so that when you're in front of everyone, you know everything you're gonna say. You can roll with any changes that happen, any little like moments that you want to sort of build upon in the moment. You gotta rehearse.
Interesting. Do you use a mirror or no?
Oh, no.
Okay.
I mean, I often make silly faces in the mirror, but I don't when I'm rehearsing. I literally just I get up and stand up in my room. I have a script that I work off of,
Yeah.
right? That I have kind of the broad ideas and topics that I'm covering in something like a keynote speech. And so I'll sort of go back and forth between working that script, reading that out loud, but then also blocking and staging it. So I know exactly kind of where I want to go within this space for any given story or, yeah.
Interesting. I'll usually do that like when I'm prepping for a talk. I'll usually do it in my head, but I haven't actually done it like out loud, like walking around like I'm pacing a stage. I'll have to try that next time.
The more you practice it, the easier it's going to be, and the less nervous you'll probably feel once you get in front of people.
So weird.
Yeah.
Mark is texting me right now and says, "No, you're totally wrong. You have to just block it out of your mind until it's 2 minutes ready to go." Go.
That's awesome. Do you do that for YouTube videos as well?
YouTube videos are different. Sometimes I might, prep more than others. With YouTube, some of my videos, I've just sort of had an idea, sort of outlined it very briefly, and just really spoken from the heart to camera. It really depends on the topic, though. But with YouTube videos, I can edit it, right? If I'm live in front of a group of people in a room, there's less room for error.
Yeah, absolutely. Nice. Well, the conference went well.
Yeah.
What was it really called again? The name was so awesome.
Yeah, it was Blog Pause. So pause like little animal, like PAWS. It was pet content creators.
That's so awesome. That's cool. Yeah. Nice. All right. Well, we'll let people pile in here. Like I said, everyone, if you, we're talking about YouTube SEO for lead gen today. So a little bit different from our normal content, but this is really big low hanging fruit for investors if you're not doing this. So yeah, we're going to be talking about it. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments and we'll answer them during the Q&A portion of the call today. But yeah, let's kick it off. Let's dive into it. YouTube content is low-hanging fruit for generating motivated seller leads, especially if you optimize it and pair it with the right blog content strategy, which is what we're going to be talking about. So today, Mallory and I are going to walk you through a simple strategy to get more eyeballs on your video content so you can generate leads in your sleep through evergreen marketing. And we're going to break down some of the best practices and give you a couple of AI apps and tools that we use and recommend so you can do this in a fraction of the time as it would normally take. So let's get into it. So a couple of things that we know about video, about the power of video. I want to go over this real quick, and then Mallory, I'll toss it over to you and we'll talk about the strategy, like when and where does this even fit into my content marketing strategy. We already know that inbound marketing, evergreen marketing, is the most motivated lead. We already know it generates the best type of lead. We already know that YouTube is the second largest search engine. Okay, we know that video on sites, having video on your websites increases conversion, makes conversion go through the roof. I think it was when somebody, we looked at the data a while back, and it was when somebody makes it through a video on your website, they're 80% more likely to convert. conversion goes through the roof when people watch your video content on your website. And we know that from our own experience and us trying this, that the YouTube videos, when done the right way with blog content, can basically supercharge your SEO. Can be really powerful if you do it right. So we know it's a really strong duo. So let's talk about how to combine YouTube and what we're doing on our Carrot sites with our written content. Mallory, we have an example from a Carrot member, Jessica Middleton. Kind of want to start with that example. Where did this topic come from? Where does this whole strategy fit in?
Go asking me a question about this very topic.
Go back real quick. We had you muted for just a split second.
Oh no. Yeah. So Jessica reached out to me a few weeks ago asking about this very topic, about getting started with YouTube, using YouTube with SEO, and how that could potentially help her with her website SEO and all that. So Jessica's been using a lot of our great evergreen marketing tools on Carrot. She's been using our niche authority builder, which helps you easily build out topic clusters around specific topics relevant to, your real estate business. So for example, she had used our niche authority builder to build out a niche post and some other supporting blog posts around selling an inherited house. Yeah. She's based in Florida. And looking at using some keyword research tools that are specific to YouTube, like vidIQ, I took a peek and wanted to see what was already on YouTube around this topic. And there's a lot of opportunity there. And in fact, one of the top ranking YouTube videos about that topic is another Carrot member, but based on a completely other part of the country, located in Texas. And he is crushing it on YouTube, has like 16,000 subscribers on YouTube and tons of views on all of these topics related to, real estate investing and selling inherited property, selling houses with a lien on it. He's just been creating these very, very short evergreen topic videos that build that trust, that increase those conversions, that help grow his business.
Yeah, that's awesome. In that video you were referencing, I think that video had like 17,000 views on it, which if this strategy works especially well if you can dispo leads nationally, if you could take in leads from all over the US on broader topics. But yeah, it's powerful stuff. So let's talk a little bit about keyword research. So in this instance, we already have the example from Jessica. You're doing a blog on how to sell an inherited house. If you didn't already have that blog and you didn't know, okay, I want to make a video for this, how would you go about doing keyword research and finding ideas for videos?
For YouTube specifically, yeah. So here we have like a general idea of the topic, right? And for the specific example on the blog post, the niche authority builder, we've optimized it around selling an inherited property in Florida. So I just went over to YouTube using my vidIQ Chrome extension. It basically shows you some extra information as you're browsing YouTube. So as I search like sell inherited house, just like any other sort of autocomplete search, it starts to give me suggestions of things that people might commonly be searching. I look to see what videos were coming up for that. And it gives me some other information about kind of how easy or hard it would be to rank a new YouTube video around that topic, what other videos are already existing around that topic, and some other like related keyword phrases. So similar to a lot of other keyword research tools, but this one, the vidIQ, is just specific to YouTube.
Nice. Okay. Yeah. vidIQ. I like using TubeBuddy as well. It's the same. It's an extension. Hook it up to your YouTube channel. They both work. It's kind of a preference thing, but yeah. Well, let's do this. Let's kind of go through a checklist, if you will. We'll talk about what are the things you need to optimize in a YouTube video. We'll break these things down, and then when we do the screen share portion with the live coaching call Q&A, we'll kind of show off some of these tools and explain the strategy a little bit more in depth. Okay, so first thing, title. You gotta have the right keywords in your title. This is like SEO 101. So for selling an inherited property in Florida, that's literally probably going to be your title. How to sell an inherited property in Florida, or maybe 7 tips to sell an inherited property in Florida, something like that. So have the keywords in the title, and you want to keep it you don't want to use the full title. It usually gets cut off anyways, but I don't know, keep it under 50 or 60 characters, and then have some way to make it compelling. So spice it up with like 7 tips, something that copywriting, you call it opening the loop in the prospect's mind. So like, oh, what is, what are they going to explain? What is that thing? So you want to open loops in their mind. Yeah. What other tips do you have for writing titles, Mallory?
Yeah, well, one tool that I really love, or a resource really, is called Creator Hooks.
Oh,
So
yeah, that's right.
creatorhooks.com, they have a great free like weekly email newsletter where they break down why specific YouTube video titles and thumbnails work so well to bring in all of those views. And then they even show an example of here's one that worked really well for a specific creator. And then here's a flop of that same creator and a video that didn't perform so well, right? So that's a really good tool for that sort of, here's how we open the loop. Here's how we create curiosity and make people want to click. Another thing when it comes to titles, I learned this from Pat Flynn, Smart Passive Income, and lots of other great YouTube stuff. He talked about really thinking about planning your title and also thumbnail. We'll talk a little bit more about thumbnail in a bit, but planning your title and thumbnail first before you ever really get into scripting the actual video content itself. So sort of optimizing for those things like the title and thumbnail that are going to make people want to click through and watch the video. And so that making sure that your video itself sort of fulfills the promise created by the title.
Yeah, I tell you what, I heard that a couple of years ago as well, and that's probably been like the biggest shift for me in creating content. It's been like the most helpful thing. Now it's almost it's super difficult to reverse that now and go backwards, but like I can't do content without having the title in mind first. Usually like when people record a video, record a podcast, it's like, okay, now we have this content. What do we call it? What do we do with it? I'm like, no. It's backwards. Like once you flip the script on that and have your title in mind first, it makes everything else so much easier because you're thinking about it leading up to recording the content. Yeah. That's a game changer right there. Okay, so let's talk about description. You need the keywords in the description as well. You want it in the first line, in the first sentence. So, hey, in this video, we're going to be talking about how to sell an inherited house. One thing I like to do, one tip is if you did your video well and you're going straight to the point in the video, you can usually pull the transcript from the video and use that as like the first part of the description. It should be pretty similar and it should be SEO optimized because you're talking about, things. And so that's one thing you can do. This is super easy, especially with AI now. You can take the transcript of the video, throw it into ChatGPT. There's a couple other tools too, but tell it the keyword you're wanting to rank for, have it look at the transcription and say, hey, write me a YouTube description or a description for this YouTube video going after this keyword in at least 200 words. And and tweak it if you need to. But make sure the keyword's in there. Make sure that it has some meat to it, that it has some heft to it, and make sure to have a link back to your Carrot website in the description. That's key too. I'd have that in the first line or two. And you could even use, if you want to get fancy, you could use a tracking link from your Carrot account. So you could just go into Carrot, create a tracking link, and tell it it's going to a certain YouTube video, so you can know where leads came from. You can know when a lead shows up if it came from that YouTube video. So that's a good thing to do. Make sure to add links, and then you can add hashtags too. This isn't a huge deal. It's not like a deal breaker, but it's just kind of another best practice. But like add hashtags related to, like if it's inherited property, you can add hashtag inherited home or real estate investing, whatever. But yeah, hashtags can help because people will browse or search by hashtags too, and it helps recommend your video. Yeah. Anything else on description that I'm leaving out?
I think with the description, you have more space available. You have a larger character limit than in something like a title. So making sure to include that main keyword or phrase that you're trying to rank for, but also any other kind of like similar synonyms, right? Like other variations of that keyword phrase that have the same meaning and search intent. That's a great place to kind of weave those in. And also, like you said, linking to your Carrot site. But I would say beyond that, if you're making a video that ties into an existing blog post, like we had this example of the selling an inherited house in Florida, and you already have that specific topic on your website, linking directly to that page to kind of create, tie that whole thing into a nice, pretty package so that somebody watching the post or watching the video gets to that exact blog post that's relevant to that same topic versus just your homepage.
Yeah, and it's so much more useful and helpful when someone's watching a video and they come across that instead of just like a generic, oh, learn more about me here, and it just goes to the homepage. It's like, wait, there's a place where I can dive deeper into this. That's what people are wanting, especially when it's someone looking at selling their house and this is a huge decision and they're in what we call the research rabbit hole. Yeah, so yeah, I like that. Link to the specific blog post. Another thing, tags. So tags super easy, especially with AI. I like the Tube. I think vidIQ does this too, but TubeBuddy does it as well. They'll recommend tags just based off the transcript. So just make sure to add tags. It's not a this doesn't bear a lot of weight in the algorithm, but it's just another best practice. Make sure to add tags that are related to the video, things that people would search. That's all you're doing there. And then your thumbnail. You want to create something that's eye-catching. Here's there's thumbnails is like an entire art and science. It's hard to like summarize like how to make a great YouTube thumbnail in a couple minutes in a conversation. But I'll tell you a couple of the mistakes I see is people putting the same text in the thumbnail that they do in the title. How most people browse on YouTube is they're just scrolling through videos and then they'll see a video and they'll look at the thumbnail first and they'll read it and they'll say, is that interesting? Does that make me want to learn or watch? And then they'll look at the title to see what it's really about. And then they'll decide to watch. It's a little bit different if they're searching for something specific, like how to sell an inherited house or how to sell an inherited property. So for this one, I don't know, what would you recommend as a thumbnail for a video like this? If the title is like how to sell an inherited property in Florida.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's yeah, it's so if it's for Florida specifically, right? One thing that you could do is maybe have a little bit of an image of something that represents Florida, maybe the shape of the state of Florida, maybe some palm trees or some water, right? Something to visually indicate and catch somebody's attention that this video is relevant for them, right? So that's really the thumbnail. The thumbnail, like you said, it could be a whole podcast episode in and of itself. It's such an art and a science. You can also change out thumbnails, right? So if you create one thumbnail, you're not getting a lot of clicks. You could also try to then test out a different thumbnail. When I'm working on thumbnails for my own side project YouTube channel, will often kind of create a few different options, have my partner come look in the room and be like, which of these do you think is best, right? Like, is it these colors, these fonts, like these specific words on the thumbnail? What would you click on?
Yeah. So maybe something like, I just inherited a house, in quotes, or like 5 tips for selling an inherited house. That's a little text heavy, but I don't know. I usually recommend like no more than 3 to 5 words. I don't know. That's
maybe like
to see people
stuck with this house or something, right? Like,
Yeah.
what is the experience that the person that you want to watch is going through? They're probably, if they inherited a house and they don't want to live at the house, maybe they feel trapped and they want to get rid of this thing.
Yeah, stuck with an inherited property. Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah, 3 to 5 words. Have it big text, high contrast. You don't need to overdo it on the graphics either. Keep it simple. Okay, so thumbnail. Another thing, especially if you're doing multiple videos, having playlists. Having curated playlists on the topic. So selling inherited property in Florida, like for us at carrot.com, we have a playlist on SEO for motivated sellers, or like how to rank in Google. We have another one on conversion, things like that. But like having separate playlists, sometimes I've even seen those playlists rank in Google, where you're Googling a certain topic and Google will say, hey, this channel puts out enough content on this one topic. Here's the entire playlist. So that helps probably, I'd say, more than tags and hashtags, and even sometimes like having a robust description. Having them organize a playlist really helps the algorithm.
Yeah. And making sure with those playlists to optimize the playlist title and the playlist description for those main keyword phrases or those main topics that's about, right? So if you have multiple videos about selling inherited properties in Florida or selling a house fast in Florida, right? Making sure to include those words and phrases in the playlist title and description.
Yeah, those are huge. And I'd say like put your best video up front. Like put your best video in the top of that playlist. That's what people are going to see first. But yeah, playlists. I can clearly look at our YouTube channel on Carrot and see videos that have gotten more views because they're on the top of a playlist and because that playlist sometimes ranks for certain phrases. So Yeah, that's a huge one. I'll mention a couple of the AI tools that we look at and we use, and then we'll switch over in a sec to the coaching call, the Q&A portion. If you guys have any questions, put them in the chat here. Okay, so we already mentioned TubeBuddy. That's TubeBuddy. It's a Chrome plugin, and then we have vidIQ. Okay, so those both work really well. Another one Braden actually recommended is Glasp.ai, GLASP.ai. This is really cool because it basically in one click gives you a summary of the YouTube video, and then you can take like in bullet points. So if there's a YouTube video you want to learn about, but you don't want to watch the whole thing or read the transcript, it can just summarize the transcript for you. You can throw that into ChatGPT to help with, description or things like that. One I was toying around with yesterday is called, it's Storylab. So it's app.storylab.ai. And Storylab is basically, you just go in, you describe the video, and you tell it what keywords you're trying to rank for, who the audience is, what the video is about. So it takes a little bit of work. You can't just copy in the URL, but it'll spit out title, description, tags, all that good stuff. And I was pretty impressed with the results. Another one, you already mentioned Creator Hooks. So the Creator Hooks newsletter, that's really good. And then of course, video posts, Carrot's on video posts. So I know I was just catching up with Brad Woodall a few weeks ago. Brad uses this. He records his videos and puts it into Carrot. You go to create a blog post and you tell it you're creating a video post. And transcribes the video, puts it in your blog post, so you don't have to go back and forth. You get a dead accurate human transcription, which is really nice. And then you can tweak that, edit it, turn it into a written blog post. So that's nice and easy. But yeah, those are some of my favorite tools. Any that I'm leaving out or anything you feel like are worth mentioning, Mallory?
I think that's a great summary. I would say for the thumbnails, I love Canva. I know a lot of us use Canva for various graphics. That's literally what I use when I'm making YouTube thumbnails, though.
Yes. Yeah. I love Canva too. Super easy. If you're not a graphic designer and you don't have time to learn the full Adobe suite and all the nuances, Canva's just nice and easy. Sweet. Well, let's do this. If you guys have any questions, put them in the chat. We're going to switch over to the coaching call Q&A portion and show off a couple of these tools and dive into YouTube analytics. But yeah, let's do that. Just kidding. Unmuted? Okay. All right. Here we go. We're live. Anybody see an Anchorman? Okay. All right. So we're going to do the Q&A portion. Like I said, if you have any questions, put them in the chat. Brady was giving me a hard time because I forgot to end the podcast properly. I forgot to end the podcast for the audio listeners, but that's okay. Okay. So let's do this. Mallory, do you want to screen share?
Yeah.
Let's pull up this. Yeah. We can maybe start off with this blog post from Jessica Middleton. From the Niche Authority Builder.
Yeah. Okay. So this is one of our Niche Authority Builder posts that Jessica has taken and really made her own. So she's based in Florida. So we have this abandoned antebellum home, an image at the top, right? She's done a lot to make this post her own. And so, I think when you already have existing content like this, that's already been optimized for written SEO on your website, that can be a really great starting place to then create a corresponding video and just keep improving it. I've done a lot of this with my own side projects, right? I have something that's already getting some traffic. It's a great evergreen topic and people are responding to it. And so just creating that same information, but in a different format is a great way to kind of build upon that success. And this was really, I think, what Jessica was asking me about recently. And so this is where the first place that I go when I'm thinking about how do I adapt existing content or a certain topic for YouTube is I like to start with a little bit of research on YouTube to see what's already out there and kind of what I'm up against, right?
Yeah, exactly. Find the low-hanging fruit.
Exactly. So here I went over to YouTube and this is that vidIQ extension that we were talking about. Now, again, they have a paid version. I'm just using the free version of vidIQ. So this is just a Chrome extension. You do have to just sign up with a basic email account, but then it shows this whole section as you're just browsing YouTube. So it's really great for doing some research. And I looked up the particular phrase selling an inherited house. Now, this is a little bit different than the exact wording that is used on this Niche Authority blog post. You can see this is selling an inherited property. The reason that I went with inherited house is because as I started to type this in YouTube, this is what the autocomplete in YouTube showed me. And anytime there's an autocomplete, it means that there's some amount of people searching for that. So that's why I leaned into this slight variation, right?
Yeah.
And sure enough, vidIQ gives you this nice score right here, right? So basically they're showing you how much search volume there is for that keyword phrase on YouTube itself, and then what the competition, how many other videos are trying to compete for that same topic, right? And so we have very low competition and some pretty good search volume for it.
Yeah. And I don't know, just a note of caution. I'd be a little, I would take the volume part with a grain of salt, because these tools are designed for like really competitive topics and titles. And yeah, so even if there's like really low volume, it's still motivated sellers searching this specific thing. I don't know.
Yeah, well, so one of the there's a couple of other things that we can use to inform us as we're like looking at this, right? If I scroll down a little bit, here it's saying like the highest views, average subscribers for this topic. Again, maybe take that with a grain of salt. I do like that it shows us the top creator. This was really interesting in this particular case, because this was what I mentioned. This is another Carrot member, Sell My San Antonio House. I'll pop over to his channel in a moment. But it also shows you some other top channels for the search term, and it gives you other related opportunities, right? So maybe you want to explore these as well, like basically other keyword variations, right? Like selling a home, much broader sort of topic, much broader search intent. That can be lots of different types of home, lots of different types of buyers, and people in different mindsets, versus an inherited home is much more specific. And you can see how this 66 is that sort of like good number on the score, that's higher to 100, versus selling a home, much more generic. It only scores it as a 33 in terms of like keyword opportunity.
Yeah.
One other thing while I'm looking at this, as I'm doing research for potential videos I want to make, I also look at those thumbnails, because just like we were talking about, it's not just the title, it's also that thumbnail that makes you want to click. So I will actually plan and sort of like take screenshots, right? You can see like, okay, what's the process? You can see like exactly the phrases that they're using. You can see if there's kind of all have the same style, like who's out there, what kind of content they're creating. Also, like, what are the links of the videos? What's kind of in the videos themselves? And how long ago was the most recent popular video? This is another thing. So the average age of these videos for this topic is 3 years. Even this one, posted 3 years ago by Sell My San Antonio House. This one right below it is 2 years ago. Often there's opportunity. If you're going to post a brand new video, YouTube's going to have some incentive to show something that's new if it's well done and if people are going to want to watch it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It depends on how competitive the term is, but I've seen some videos that we've done like taper off after a few months if other people keep uploading something on that same topic. But sometimes it'll stay up for like, I don't know, like 2 or 3 years. We'll have a video like consistently getting views, and eventually it'll taper off because YouTube's seeing, okay, other people have put out newer, more relevant videos on this, or your video's just not as relevant anymore. Yeah.
Yeah, well, and this is really the value of like evergreen content, right? Versus some newsworthy topic that's relevant right now that won't be relevant a year from now. But these topics are very evergreen topics. So you can potentially have a video that sticks around for a number of years. And so here I clicked over to the Sell My San Antonio House channel. You can see 16,000 plus subscribers. Now he's created a lot of videos. This is another thing that's important to point out and sort of think about if you're getting started on your journey, adapting some of this content for YouTube. If you just create that one video and post it and think that it's, that's going to see overnight success, maybe sometimes I've definitely seen those content creators who blow up overnight with their very first video, but that's very unlikely. That's not a common thing. So I would say, invest in yourself and plan to keep creating content, but know that it doesn't have to be overcomplicated. This is what I love about this particular channel. is that a lot of these videos, look at the timestamps. They're like 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 2 minutes. They're very short and sweet, which makes it really easy for a potential lead or your website's visitor to just watch them, the whole thing, right?
Yeah.
And they're just very simple. He's recording them either just doing a walkthrough of a house, or a lot of these are just recorded at a desk and it's just sitting there talking and just explaining something just like you would to a real life, your perfect client or that, perfect deal. You're just doing that on the camera. Just keep it very, very simple.
Yeah, I like that. Oh, go ahead, Mallory.
Oh, no, you're good. Go.
Oh, I was going to say I'll share my screen real quick. I just wanted to throw out a couple of YouTube channels that I see doing really well that are care members. Here we go. Okay, so here's one. Our good friend Tyler Ford, been a care member for years. He's crushing on YouTube. He started doing this probably about 3 years ago. It's been now. He started just like full on commit to YouTube. He does really great thumbnails. So Tyler's a hybrid investor agent out of Tucson. His thumbnails are killer. His topics, his concepts are killer. Look at this: pros and cons of living in Tucson, Arizona. So they're more buyer focused, but he has a separate YouTube channel called, I think, Sell My House Fast Tucson. I think it's something along the lines of that. But yeah, pros and cons of living in Tucson, Arizona. 19,000 views. 3 reasons why you should live in Tucson. 8,000 views, 7,000 views. That's a lot of views. Okay, and some of these are a few hundred views. So the important thing is, like, if you're doing YouTube at scale like this, it's a long game. You got to be ready to commit to like minimum 6 months, really like a year and a half before you start to see traction. You can talk to anybody in any niche and they're going to tell you, yeah, YouTube's a long game. If you're only going to put out a few videos and you're just going to treat it really casually, probably not worth your time. You're going to be pretty unhappy with the results.
Tyler's also a really good example of how you can take advantage of having a title for your video and then getting separate keywords or hooks in your thumbnail. A lot of these thumbnails, he's got the title and the thumbnail than what he does the title of the video. And one of the things that, realize if you're making videos, the goal is you show up in a search result, you get people to click your thing, and your thumbnail, your title, and the first line of your description you have 3 separate chances to win that click. In the search, when you're in a search query, it's different than they're on Tyler's page here.
Yeah.
So when a search result comes up, they're going to see your thumbnail, they're going to see your title, they're going to see the first line of your description. And all 3 of those, you can have 3 different attempts or tries to get them to get their attention.
Yeah, he is. Well, one thing I just noticed while you're saying that is like even the first few frames of the video, like having something visually interesting. Like he's, because YouTube, especially on the mobile app, will show, like it's doing right now, it'll preview the first few seconds. So he's holding up something interesting with numbers. Like, what am I looking at? So yeah, it's really good at getting attention. So I look at him, Tyler Ford. Another guy, we had Brad, our good friend Brad, might be watching this right now. I had him on the podcast last week. So if you're not subscribed to the podcast feed, go to your podcast app, type in Evergreen Marketing, listen to the podcast there. We obviously put the live shows there every week, but I do interviews with members every other week, and we put those out as well. So dove into probate with Brad last week. It was a great podcast, but he's got all sorts of videos on how to sell a house in probate, and he's following a lot of best practices. He's got good thumbnails. He's got some videos that have taken off, and some of these are lower count, but it's just that consistency. It's starting out on YouTube. It takes some time for some of these videos to get traction, but he's doing the right things, and and it's not just about getting the views on YouTube. He's using these to help his blog posts and pages rank higher in Google. So he's seen pages on his site rank higher because he has videos on those pages related to the exact topic he's written about. And like we talked about at the very beginning, it's increasing conversion because a motivated seller is no longer just reading a blog post, they're watching the guy describe the whole process, and it's actually the guy who's going to come to the seller appointment. So it's just, you're going to win so many more deals over the competition when you're willing to put your face out there and be on video like that. It builds so much trust. There's nothing like it. It's crazy.
Well, and the other thing too is that, especially if nobody else in your particular niche or for that topic is doing a lot of video, for some topics and some searches on Google, what shows up directly in the search results? YouTube videos, right?
Exactly.
So I actually had this myself, is that I had a video that took off in the Google search results way before YouTube started suggesting it. But because I'd optimized it for a very specific keyword phrase, it started showing up in the Google search. And then once that started, then YouTube started suggesting it more and more. And that's how it's grown. But it wasn't overnight. It took time.
Isn't that awesome? Yeah. It's so cool how Google does that. I'll show one more example and then a couple of tools we're using. Anthony Beckham, Carrot member as well. He's also in our Epic coaching program. He's crushing it here in Roseburg, here near Carrot HQ. But I love his his thumbnails. Look at this. Pros and cons of living in Roseburg, Oregon. 5 reasons not to move to Roseburg, Oregon. Again, these are buyer focused. It's a little bit easier to come up with ideas as an agent, but look at 25,000 views. I'm pretty sure that's like slightly more than the entire population of Roseburg. We're somewhere like 20 to 30,000 people. Essentially, the whole town watched his video, which is crazy. But this is a really good one to check out. If you're an agent, you could be crushing like Anthony is, and he gets tons of referrals and leads just from people seeing his YouTube videos. So that's completely changed his business. Okay, a couple of tools. Oh, also one more thing. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention this. If you want video ideas, we put together a guide a little while back. Just go to carrot.com/video, and we put together a guide of 52 video topics and ideas. So if you're struggling with what ideas to talk about, what ideas to shoot videos on to get seller or buyer leads, we have a whole list of them. And it's got tips on like what gear to get, how to get started, what to do with your videos, etc. So easy to digest, simple guide there, carrot.com/video. But let's take a look at a couple of tools real quick. I'll just kind of share these briefly. Storylab.ai. So this was one of the ones that I mentioned where all you got to do is basically, let's see, let me come over here, video content generators. Wasn't it? Where is it? Oh, video SEO. So if we come over here to video SEO, you can choose the tone of voice. And you can say, okay, I'm going after views, shares, conversion. Let's say I'm going after conversion and target audience. I'm going to say someone that inherited a house in Florida and needs to sell it without hassle. I don't know. That might be a little bit too descriptive for an audience. And this is a how-to video. And let's see. This is a video walking through the process of how to sell an inherited house in Florida. I'm a slow, terrible typer, so don't judge me. Anything else you feel like would be helpful to add here, Mallory? It'd probably be more descriptive. It'd probably have to take part of the trim.
I haven't used this particular tool, but I think in general, the more sort of like descriptive, specific information that you can put in, the better the output often. Often with these AI tools, you kind of just need to like play around with it, see what it's going to give you back, and then continue to like tweak and experiment with it.
Okay. I added like one more sentence in here. We'll see what this spits out. So this is a free tool. I think it gives you like 3 free uses. So I signed up yesterday just to try it out. You could also, you could come up with a prompt in ChatGPT. You could ask ChatGPT to help you come up with a prompt for this and spit out title, description, tags, hashtags, etc. But it's almost there. Okay, so check us out. So video tags, this is nice because it gives you an entire list separated by commas. This is a little bit more robust than what vidIQ or TubeBuddy usually gives me. So pretty robust tag list. Sell an inherited house, Florida, how to sell an inherited house, inherited property selling advice, easy house sale in Florida. Might be a little bit too many. Gives you a couple of video title ideas, how to quickly sell an inherited Florida house, expert tips. Okay, and then we have a description here. Who is this video for? Yeah, nice robust description. So I don't know, this I'm sure it could be a little bit better, but at how much time expense? Like it's pretty awesome to have all that generated pretty quickly. So
And it gives you a starting point. If you're not used to doing this yourself, at least it helps kind of create those training wheels.
Yeah, exactly. And if I had the video on hand, I'd be copying and pasting that description. So the way you do that is you go to the video. Let's see. I'm gonna click on a video. I'm gonna hit pause, and if you go to these 3 dots right here. Oh, actually, they moved it. It used to be in those 3 dots. If you click on the description of any YouTube video, it doesn't even have to be yours. You click on show transcript, and then boom, I can just whoop. Highlight, scroll down, and then copy the whole transcript, throw it into ChatGPT or throw it into that tool I was using for some more context. And yeah, any transcripts available for any YouTube video pretty much. Here's the one that Braden was mentioning, Glasp.ai. So this is nice Chrome extension you could just add in and it'll help summarize YouTube videos. That's really nice. And then, yeah, we have vidIQ and TubeBuddy. Let me see. There was one other thing I wanted to share, Mallory. We didn't touch on like YouTube analytics at all.
Yeah. Do you want me to show that example of the video that I did that actually showed up in the Google search first?
Yeah, let's pull it up because I like the view of that video.
So this is a completely not real estate related topic, but sometimes it can be helpful to kind of look at other industries and things, right?
Yeah.
So this is the search results itself. So I used to do craft shows and art markets and sell handmade stuff a long time ago. And so this particular video was optimized for craft show display ideas. So this is the actual Google search result. And as you can see in the video section of the results, that's my video, this first one that I posted just earlier this summer, just a few months ago. And so my channel, I started this channel from scratch about 1.5 years ago, May 2023. And I've grown it to more than 1,500 subscribers. I have about 50 videos on there total. Some of them have performed very well, and some of them have only had a handful of views, right? So this is the importance of just continuing to do the work, and because some things are going to take off and some things not so much. So this is my overall like channel analytics for the last year or so. You can see how things will sort of like start to take off, and then there might be a dip, and there's waves. It's like lots of analytics. If you're looking at your website, whether it's YouTube analytics or your website analytics, this is just the way things work. But this particular video, so this was about craft show display tips. And this is something that I'd done 1 or 2 other videos about craft shows before on this channel. It's something I've written a lot about on my other blog. And the other video had gotten a lot of traction, had done pretty well. So I was like, let me do another video about a different aspect of this same craft show topic. And this was an interview with a friend of mine who runs a whole series of craft shows in California called Patchwork Shows. And I really focused on optimizing this one for search. Here I can dig into that. You can see the title. This is actually vidIQ showing me suggested other titles. This is what's happening right here. But I optimize it just like we said. The beginning of this title is just pure keyword. It is craft show display ideas. And then I added how to make your craft fair booth look great. And you can see how I kind of did a variation on the thumbnail where it's craft fair display tips and tricks, right? So it's kind of a little variation on what the title was.
I'll call something out that you did right on your thumbnail. You can see a craft show, the event happening in the background. A common mistake I see is there's not a clear connection between the title and the thumbnail. They just don't correlate, but they have to tie together. If you had just done like a blue background, it wouldn't have made as clear of a connection. So
yeah.
Key thing.
Yeah, that's the thing about like catching somebody's eye and making it clear to them that this video is for me. I should watch this video, right?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I did a whole description, but I want to show you the analytics. So you can see when I first published this a few months ago, I published it July 12th or 13th, I think, right? It doesn't do a lot at the beginning because this was a video that I had really optimized for search, and search takes some time. And so it's about a month or so. And when I checked this about a month after posting, this top traffic sources looked a lot different than it does now. It's shifted. But at the time, before this really, really started to take off, as it was first starting to take off, the top traffic source was actually external, right? And as I clicked into that external source, this doesn't show it from this view, but when I dug deeper into external, that's where I saw that Google search was one of the top external sources. So that's when I came over here, looked in this in an incognito window, and I was like, yep, my video is right there in Google search. If somebody's looking for anything related to craft show display ideas, they're finding my video via Google itself. And then once people started finding it that way, then YouTube got those engagement signals. So people started to watch it. People were commenting, they were liking it. And that's what YouTube, as most of the social media and search algorithms love, they just want you spending time on their platform so that they can make more advertising money or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And then they started to suggest it. So now you can see that suggested videos is my main traffic source and browse features is my main traffic source now. But it's this snowball effect that really took time. And you can see that clearly in my analytics for this particular video.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. And yeah, I like how you mentioned search does take some time. I'll share one more example as we round it out, just in hopes, like, if we haven't already motivated you to start doing video for the traffic benefits, for the lead generation benefits, for the credibility benefit, take a look at this. So this is like one of the first videos I put out when I joined Carrot years ago. We have almost 40,000 views on this video we did with Trevor's assistant, Jen. And it was about like what makes an excellent assistant. And the title is, what is it? Let's see. What makes an excellent executive assistant? And so when we put it out, it took a little bit, but it started ranking for, I think, the keyword executive assistant. Just people going to YouTube exploring, like, what is an executive assistant? What do they actually do? So people that are wanting to learn more, similar to a motivated seller, be like, should I work with a real estate investor, or how to sell a house without an agent? So kind of a similar phase of research. But anyways, if I go to my analytics and I set this to the lifetime of the video, and I scroll down to reach, check this out. So we published a video in November of 2018, 12 views a day, 50, 46. Yeah, it's going to be a lot more than probably some of you are used to seeing, just because we have a larger established YouTube channel. Trevor's been putting out videos for years. But here's what's interesting. We put out in 2018, we were getting a healthy number of views, but then 4 years later, our view count like tripled, quadrupled, and it started blowing up. And then another almost 9 to 12 months later, it tripled again. It just compounds. And so fast forward, let's see, this is 5 years. That video is just cranking, still bringing us views. Jen has clients because this video exists. She has gained customers and is making money from a video that we put a few hours into 5 years ago. And then eventually, I don't know what happened here. I don't know if that was bots or something. We got a ton of traffic over the course of a week, and it's kind of tapered off. It's not doing a ton for us now, but 5 years, that's crazy for a few hours of work. So if that doesn't motivate you to like get on board with video, I don't know what will. That's evergreen marketing at its finest. Yeah. And we got a blog post on that. We optimized the blog post. We're getting traffic there too. So yeah, it's crazy. But anyways, that's about all I have for today. Like I said, we're not going to be hopping on live next week. We're going to be enjoying time with our families and food. That's what I'll be doing. Hopefully you guys are too. But anything else I missed, Mallory? Anything I'm leaving out? Anything critical?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that's it. Yeah, just give it time. Keep putting in the work. If it's something that, you want to do for your business, it's worth it.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, sweet. Thanks for hopping on, Mallory. Thanks everybody for watching, and we will see you in 3 weeks here back on the show. See you later.